Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Public Works Committee meeting, Thursday, July 9th, 2026. Call to order. Councilmember Swarthout is not with us, so you have myself and Councilmember Kelly Van Holtz. Kelly, can you give me a motion to approve the minutes for June 4th, 2026?
Yes, I move to approve.
And I second. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. So let's move on to agenda number 1, which is interlocal agreement with Thurston County and the cities of Lacey and Olympia for the Regional Environmental Education Partnership.
Great, thank you. Good to see you,
Good
council
morning.
members. Yeah, let me share my screen here. So make sure I've got everything queued up and get to the presentation mode. Are you all seeing that? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, good morning. I'm glad to be finally presenting on this. This has been quite a process in the making to get this ILA agreement through all the jurisdictions. So I'll give you a little bit of background first on REAP. Let me close this window here. Okay, I'm good. Okay, so I think you're both aware of REAP, but I will just pretend as if you're hearing it for the first time. So REAP is the Regional Environmental Education Program. It is a watershed education and stewardship mechanism to deliver education and outreach throughout our region, specific to each jurisdiction. So as we jump in, and I'm going to reduce my window here. If you have any questions, please jump in at any time. But basically, yeah, REAP has been a partnership that was formed between the different jurisdictions through the utilities. It's got multiple functions to it, and it's a very highly effective platform for raising awareness for stormwater pollution and prevention. And inspiring community members basically to get involved with restoration, stewardship, and really a lot of our hands-on science opportunities, expanding our overall community's knowledge of the natural resources that surround them and how they can make a difference to help protect those resources. And again, there's the primary references to stormwater pollution prevention and water quality. Let's see. Yeah. So this initiative is driven by our regulatory requirements as they pertain to the Phase 2 National Pollution Discharge Elimination System permit, which we refer to as our NPDES permit. And some of those fulfillments that we meet through this mechanism in this partnership are really heavily weighted on education and outreach, which again raises watershed awareness, how those watershed functions take place within our jurisdictions, and as of course the overall watershed functions of the Deschutes River. And then, of course, how we manage those responsibilities associated with taking care of those natural resources. It also hosts a business and industry BMP, which is best management practice education, where we work with HOAs, we work with landscape companies, we work with businesses just to basically help them understand what their obligations are with stormwater facilities, how to best maintain them, how to inspect them. Of course, this translates really well to our inspection groups under our stormwater programs. So the nice thing about this is that a lot of the work that the REAP team does works in correlation with our stormwater inspectors and our stormwater leads. So there's a lot of continuity between the jurisdictions, the messaging that's getting out. And this plays really well because a lot of the stormwater teams within the jurisdictions have their own group meetings, which we as REAP leads attend to share latest in education and outreach materials. And then also there is a very consistent standardized voice that goes out throughout the region. That plays really well to the landscape companies and the companies that are servicing these systems. So there's no confusion from jurisdiction to jurisdiction as to what needs to take place with these stormwater facilities.
Grant, I
So
have a question for you.
yep.
So is it the county that's in charge, or is it, let's say that you find something that's best practices? So is it each city or jurisdiction will then share that with the other jurisdictions? Is that how it works?
Yeah, absolutely. There's really, so I'll break down the percentage of investment from each jurisdiction, which is solely based on population. But as far as the leads who represent REAP, like I'm the representative for City of Tumwater. We each have equal weigh-in and decision-making powers as far as the programming, the education materials, and then we coordinate and leverage our teams within our jurisdictions to actually also provide us with the latest and greatest information so we can then translate that to the general public. So it's really an equal distribution of decision making. It really is an amazing relationship. It's incredibly effective. And in the over 4 years I've been working with the REAP team, as we've had new people come in and out, it's just a very, very stellar group of professionals who have a really a heightened awareness to stormwater pollution prevention practices and how their interlocal or their jurisdictions function. So the benefits go way beyond just education and outreach. We're actually able to look at how different stormwater groups across different jurisdictions actually function and interact with their operations and maintenance crews, how they pass along information. I mean, there's so many different levels of benefit that we get from this type of structure. So
Okay.
yeah,
Later, I'm gonna ask about, because the kids and the school children are really, worried about our environment. We are too, but the kids. So just want to know, how are the different jurisdictions working out to reach the kids?
yeah, that's coming. I'll definitely share some of that in this presentation.
Okay.
So just kind of getting back to a little bit of what was already discussed, we have also the behavior change component. So just so you are aware, the MPDES stormwater permit requires a behavior change educational and outreach component to that. REAP is responsible for delivering that, but each jurisdiction decides which behavior change structure that they're going to go after or program that they're going to build on. For the city of Tumwater, we implemented a year ago the Natural Yard Care Habitat at Home behavior change campaign because it really coalesces a lot of our water resource management programs into one initiative.
Okay.
So it addresses the stormwater pollution prevention aspects. It also addresses a big water conservation component. So we're getting a lot of benefits from pursuing that. The nice thing too about what we've done is Tumwater really has taken the lead on this program, and what we're seeing is that the other jurisdictions are seeing the benefits on taking on this, and they're going to be joining on in the coming years, so probably next year. So right now they chose to do a different path, and that was based on their staffing capacity. Now that they're all staffed up and ready to go, they're looking at what we're doing with Natural Yard Care and Habitat at Home. They are still working with us in concert to help basically leverage those resources because, again, we do this together. But our priorities as jurisdictions are still focused on the needs of our departments. And
Okay.
that's, I think, again, a very special dynamic to this type of relationship. We're not locked into doing what Lacey or Olympia is doing. We can make our own decisions and carve our
Okay.
own pathways, which is
All
cool.
right. Got it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Grant. I'll let you continue.
Yeah, and the last thing is conservation and stewardship. This is also a big part of the permitting requirement, especially as the Phase 2 permit has been updated recently. Department of Ecology really has pulled in a conservation restoration component to improving our watershed so that our water quality functions are elevated. And so through the stewardship programs that Stream Team offers, we're able to get community folks involved in doing conservation work. And Tumwater again is leading the way with our work at Sap Road Park, the Palermo wetland buffer, and we're also looking to other projects around the city that we can start to develop and focus our efforts on. So a little bit of background with respect to 2025 data as to the extent of effectiveness. We reached out to 800 participating households just in 2025. We had 487 program participants, 1,799 volunteer hours, 599 volunteer slots were filled, and we had 321 unique volunteers. So I think what the amazing thing is that since the pandemic ended and we were able to ramp up, we've literally seen a doubling of activity year over year. And through that, we as a team have really had to look at how to increase our capacity with our existing staffing and our existing resources. And so we've really been focusing on redesigning and calibrating our programs. So we're bringing them into more of the technical realm so that we can deliver education via online training, and then offer more of the kind of in-person experiences and dedicate those experiences to actual events and trainings. So we're doing really well. We've really increased our capacity by doing that, and I think the quality of our delivery is even better than it's ever been. The other really good thing about that is because a lot of this is moving online. As far as the actual training goes, the one-on-one experiences are just richer and deeper because people are coming to those experiences with a base knowledge, and so they're just adding to more and more of their depth of as far as content goes. So some of those hands-on science and stewardship opportunities, they take the shape in many forms. The science initiatives, we're focused on amphibian surveys, macroinvertebrate surveys, plankton monitoring. We have Marine Creature Mondays, and then we have the Salmon Stewards program. These are laid out seasonally based on the activities of each species or each topic. So we really have something to offer for the community year round. I would say fall, we start to kind of taper off, which is good because it gives the REAP lead team members time to develop the work plan for the next coming year, and to continue to refine the program work. Then there's the self-guided learning that's available to people year-round, 24/7. So you can register through those online trainings anytime you want, whenever you want. And some of them are set up in a way that once you go through them, you don't have to do them again, but you can. You can go and remind and refresh your knowledge whenever you want. We have people doing that because some of them are very content rich and are just packed with amazing information. A great example is the Salmon Stewards training. We're going to submit that for multiple awards because we've received so many positive comments on how incredible the training is and how fun it is to interact with. And so we'll be pursuing some of those opportunities to kind of gain more exposure on the work that we've done to pull all this together. EcoPro for landscape companies, I'll talk a little bit more about, as well as the Go Green Natural Yard Care that's coming up. And then, of course, habitat stewardship. We've got Earth Day and MLK Day events. The second Saturdays at Sap Road Park, it continues to be one of the leading activities that Tumwater leads for REAP and Stream Team. We have the highest level of engagement for hands-on restoration practices. I have a library of information now from University of Washington students that have done research at the park, and we have a robust restoration plan moving forward with that folks will continue to be able to interact with. So That location is special for so many different reasons. Percival Creek will eventually, hopefully, see returning salmon. We've got a fish barrier project, as you know, that is taking place there right now, where we'll have one of the fish barrier removed. And so it's just going to open up a whole nother world of exposure to how to manage these natural resources and improve on existing conditions, even given the growth that we're seeing. We also have the Palermo wetland buffer restoration. Lots of benefits there because of our well field and the significance of that wetland as it relates to aquifer recharge and a whole other host of topics. And then Thurston County offers the McLean Creek Trail maintenance opportunity and Indian Creek work parties. So community events are another aspect to this. You know, we do Tumwater Falls Fest, we do Arbor Day, we do Dog Days, we do Wolf Haven Prairie Appreciation, we do the Latin Conservation Week. So that's just a few. Just to mention, there's a lot, and in your annual report, you have a complete list of all of the events that we are hosting and we participate in. And Stream Team's a primary focal point for all these events. We do a lot of one-on-one interactions, and here's some of the numbers to kind of demonstrate how many people we talk to at any given event. So there's a lot of times where I walk away and I cannot talk and my voice is completely gone. But it's an incredible experience to meet people one-on-one, expose them to the opportunities that they get to engage with Stream Team. And then, of course, just the information we're sharing. A lot of it is people are learning for the first time, and so it's really, really rewarding to see those aha moments when you interact with folks.
I have another question for you, Grant.
Yes.
I remember that when we were at the picnic, we talked about our Native American partners being involved. So how are they involved with this? Are they involved at the higher level or, down to the lowest level? That's my question.
Yeah, that's a good question. So we have engaged with the tribe to ensure that all of our tribal messaging and education as it relates to our programs is correct. So that's primarily Squaxin Island tribe. And so, any content that we share about the tribe has been vetted by the tribe. One of the things that we are pursuing is actually more engagement. We're trying to figure out how to work in to our programming more in-person engagement with the tribe and tribal members. I think the biggest challenge is they have the same problem everybody else does, and that's capacity. Can we get an individual from the tribe to attend or co-host part of our event? And that's something we're going to be moving forward to in the future to see if we can accommodate or at least develop that kind of relationship. They have expressed interest. They definitely want to do it, but again, as with anything, everybody is so tasked with so many tasks that we haven't nailed down exactly what it might look like. But it is top of list for 2027 and beyond.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Residential and business outreach, we really are moving heavily in this direction. This is more so under REAP, not Stream Team. Stream Team is a more consumer-based, community-focused platform. REAP handles a lot of the business and residential outreach efforts. With that, obviously newsletters, are included in that. We sent out 19,806 newsletters last year. We reached out to 108 households for Habitat Natural Yard Care. Some of that's now being done. That was done through individual workshops. Now we're actually moving forward. Tumwater's moving forward with actually working with independent HOAs to customize workshops. And then, of course, we had 37 business participants who either were landscape professionals, work for landscaping companies, or work for HOAs to go through our EcoPro training. And that's a partnership that we are moving forward with Thurston County. And it really, I do part of the training, and the part that I deliver is focused on stormwater pollution prevention. But it's a great partnership, and it's something that we're really just starting to get a lot of traction with. The other aspect is pet waste stations. We're in the process of revamping our pet waste station program, and that we're seeing a huge uptick in requests for pet waste station dispensers, which is part of one of our incentives. And then, of course, just people wanting to ensure that pet waste is picked up. So really positive for our stormwater surface water runoff. Going back to the behavior change campaigns, this kind of breaks down who's doing what. Olympia and Lacey, again, because of their capacity issues, chose to do Adopt a Drain. It's kind of this pre-packaged behavior change campaign that comes out of the Puget Sound Starts Here initiative. REAP adopts a lot of those materials and then passes it back onto the community. We, of course, decided to do Go Green Natural Yard Care Habitat at Home. We're moving forward in conjunction with Thurston County, with Olympia and Lacey to follow, probably starting next year. So we've already done a ton of work. We've established a lot of headway with our workshops and now our customized workshops moving forward with HOAs within our jurisdiction. And I think as other jurisdictions ramp up and join us, we'll just have a lot more capacity to do a lot more. So we're going to see that program grow substantially. In 2025, we did a concrete washout outreach campaign. We noticed a lot of people had concrete work that they were doing. They didn't have the proper BMPs, and therefore we had some stormwater runoff issues associated with this practice. And so we developed some brochures that our inspectors can hand out to contractors and homeowners, and that's been translated into Spanish as well. And then, of course, we have the Sustainable Landscape Certificate. That's the EcoPro training that I had mentioned earlier. And basically, we're working in partnership with some of the lead entities to deliver that and offer some sort of accreditation. So getting to your earlier question, we do a lot of work with students. And that work is basically completed in partnership with our Thurston Conservation District partners, South Sound Green, and Pacific Shellfish Institute partners. So there's a number of things that we do. The REAP leads often participate with our school districts, first of all, to ensure that our teachers are up to speed with participating in the water quality testing programs. South Sound Green is another interagency contract, which you guys approved last month, I believe, or the month before. But REAP as a whole, the REAP leads manage that responsibility. So they're independent of one another, but they're interlinked because it's the same people managing the same people, basically. And the programming is interlaced. So a lot of the materials that we push out through REAP get handed off to South Sound Green to deliver to the teachers so that that watershed information is passed on to the students. Then what happens is basically these kids during the school year are doing water quality testing in their streams, and then everybody comes together for Green Congress, and you have 500 students or more with their teachers and professionals with the industry, all basically meeting at Evergreen State College for a conference, and we share all the results, and there's a lot of charrettes. This is something we're hoping to get you all invited to for next year, so you can really see how this works. I mean, it's a pretty impressive event. So, but again, coming out of the pandemic, Tumwater was not participating in this. Our school district was not participating in this. And so that was a priority for me, was to really facilitate the relationship building. And now we have a very high participation rate from Tumwater, and it's building year over year. We have more teachers signing on and more students getting engaged. So this year we had 45 schools total, 312 teachers, 7,930 students participated. And then for the plankton events, we had 12 separate events. Okay, now communications is a really big part of what we do. So you'll see in the budget here in the next slide, the breakout of budget. We have a separate third-party communications company we contract with because the lift is so heavy. There's just no way that we could have our jurisdictional communications departments communicate seamlessly to deliver what we deliver. So this is a very big part of what we do. So yeah, so emails that go out, this is 2025 numbers. We sent over 60,000 emails with a pretty high open rate and click through. Our social media really ramped up in the last year because we brought on a communications expert that really has a solid background in social media management, marketing communications. So our social media numbers have clicked up a lot. And of course, our newsletter continues to be really popular among our readers, which you can access online, or you can, if you manage to get your hands on a print copy, you're lucky because a lot of them, they disappear pretty quickly as we put them out. And those get distributed throughout the region based on our assessment of the take, basically. So where we put them out in Tumwater is the Tumwater Public Library. And we also put them out at Tumwater Falls. And then I distribute the leftovers to our science teachers, which they use in the classroom as educational tools. So prioritizing equity is a huge part of our initiatives. We want to make sure that basically people have access, and we realize that not everybody has the same access, equally across the board. And so every program that we manage and run, we are assessing constantly for accessibility. And the reason why a lot of our educational programs have moved online is to increase that accessibility piece. And then some of our events, like the Latinx event, which is this one, Latin Conservation Week, that we focus on, we actually provide transportation and translation services. So we really are making a big effort to ensure that, underserved communities are being served. And we'll continue to build on that as we identify more gaps. But to really understand what equity means, we have to gather as much data as we can. And I know the city is moving forward with its own initiatives to better understand what equity gaps we might have within the city's boundaries. We participated and developed the Equity Index, which was a tool that was developed several years ago, and we use some of that data to help us inform our programming. So I feel like we're doing pretty good. We can always do better, and we'll continue to strive to do better. So it's never ending. Adaptive management as well. You got to just continue to keep equity at the forefront to ensure that you're meeting the entire community's needs. And it's a high priority for this team. So as we jump into the budget, this is how monies were spent last year, and this year will be very similar. So you can see we have quite a bit going out to communications, channel development, and maintenance. Now this includes our contractor subconsultant fees. This includes all of the print materials, the newsletters. So there's a lot that's packaged into this. We actually get a big bang for the buck on this, especially given how many people we're actually reaching and the quality of the content that's going out. So hopefully you've had a chance to see our newsletters. It's not just a newsletter. It's more like a science journal now. Again, we've been asked to submit for multiple awards on it because it's a beautiful, beautiful piece. It's highly designed, highly edited, and we put a lot of thought into what content we're going to be pushing out based on the time of year.
One more question, Grant. Now, is this easily accessible on our website?
Yes, on our website. Yeah. So there's a link on our website to the Stream Team site. And I think that's something that I'm hoping to build out in the next year is to develop a more robust page on the Tumwater City website. But yes, but we currently do have a very easy read and a link to Stream Team.
All right, perfect.
Yeah. And there's also links to all the other business training opportunities, the EcoPro training and some of the other things that landscape companies and HOAs can access. So we're But that's in the works now. We're actually going to be continue to improve the access and and raise the overall awareness because we're really just kind of like gaining traction on some of these. And we should see a lot more participation as we build this out. Hands-on science stewardship. Um, Yes, and please sign up for the newsletter. Actually, if you want to go to Stream Team and sign up for the newsletter, it'll just shoot you the digital PDF once it's released. So yeah, thanks Dan for mentioning that in the chat. Um, Hands-on science stewardship and education. Fairly large budget goes to that, but that's actually for delivery. So if we need materials, supplies to support those programs, that's where that comes out. We've been able to really update our materials. So again, when people show up and participate in our programs, they're beautifully delivered. I mean, people walk away really experiencing the subject matter or the content in a way that they really appreciate our survey and feedback on our delivery always shows high appreciation and high quality. So again, and I can really need to give credit to the leadership and the folks that they hired to put in these positions. I really work with an amazing group of people and very professional, high standard of delivery. There is no stone unturned that we don't think about. So behavior change is the behavior change campaign that pays for the workshops and the support materials that we offer our participants. A lot of that money actually goes to incentives. So, we'll offer free plants, we'll offer some guides, we'll offer, some tools, something to basically get them going. But in return, they have to commit. They have to sign a pledge. They have to, become part of a community and say, yes, I'm going to fulfill my obligation to this because I believe in it. And so when people show up and participate in these workshops, it's not just to come get something for free. It's actually to do something that they love and care about and make a change in our community. And so, it's a real positive experience all the way around. The rest kind of speaks for itself. Audience expansion, residential stormwater outreach, business pollution prevention education, and administration planning and reporting. There's a lot of little ticky-tacky items within each one of those that gets covered with those costs. The breakdown in the budget, we're running on about 120,000 a year. The percent allocation is broken out based on population, which you see here. And so basically those calculations are run, and this is what the obligation and commitment is by each jurisdiction. I can honestly say that Tumwater, we're in a very unique situation. We're growing. We're a leading jurisdiction as far as the role we play within REAP. We get a lot out of this for the investment. It really is phenomenal. There's no way we could deliver what we deliver independently for for anywhere near this. I mean, it really, when you look at what transpires over the course of a year through REAP, I look at these numbers and I'm just like, wow, we're really doing well. This is a very robust program for a minimal expense. And then this year we had City of Yelm be added to the team. City of Yelm is now growing large enough to become a Phase 2 MPDS permit holder, and so they see the benefit of being part of this. And great team, they're great people there.
So Grant, I specifically wrote that down. Yelm, have they been invited? Of course, because their population is growing. So I see them here. You're saying this is their first time. So is this why that they're not a part of the interlocal agreement? Is that going to be discussed future?
They are. So you'll in the REAP ILA, you'll see Yelm has been added.
Okay.
Yep, and this is their allocation. So, it took a little bit actually of cost off of the top for us across the board. We probably would have seen a slight increase, but because Yelm joined on, it kind of kept the fiscal allocation where it's
That's
been.
that's good to know. So this is the first year that Yelm has
Yeah.
been involved. Okay, that's great news. Thanks, Brent.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, the other aspect to this is, this doesn't include the existing staff allocations. We absorb some of the those costs just through the utility because, we as staff, this is not my full-time FTE. I'm just a 0.25 FTE as it relates to REAP work, but a lot of this overlaps with our daily tasks because we do a lot of engagement with our community. So whether it's the inspectors or our lead, Dave Congies, engaging with community members, we're sharing a lot of this educational material that REAP puts out and manages with our community members. So yeah, I'll kind of leave it there, but basically it's a massive support for our team and our team is a massive support for REAP, so there's just this beautiful relationship between staff and programming and the interagency local agreement, the relationship within jurisdictions. So it's a cool model. So looking ahead to 2026 and beyond, obviously we're going to review and improve programs every year. That's just top of mind. There's always going to be new technology that comes out that will help us with our delivery systems, new information that's coming out that's best available science that we need to update. And so we're constantly doing that. We'll continue to expand online training opportunities. We're looking at the benthics training. We're looking at some of the plankton monitoring training. We want to make that more accessible to folks. So we want to bring that online. We want to refine communications for greater reach and diverse audiences. I think as we look to our equity initiatives within each jurisdiction, we'll kind of glean off of what the data is telling us and then adapt as we need to ensure that we're reaching all of our community members. And then, of course, share timely, data-driven seasonal content. Data is a huge thing that basically was not necessarily managed or treated in a way that it should have been. And so what we've done now is any data we collect in the field gets reported through our permit requirement, through our science collection permit that we hold through WDFW. And then, of course, some of our data on benthics gets reported to Department of Ecology. So we're not out there just doing stuff to do stuff and teach people about it. We're actually out there collecting real data that can be utilized by other technical experts within the field of water quality monitoring, management, water resource management. So again, REAP is really establishing itself as much more than it has in past decades because we are all made up of scientists and program managers and developers that understand the depth and breadth of the data we're collecting. And so all of our data collection processes are industry standard. We ensure that the methodology that we're training our community members, those stewards and those volunteers, and I'm talking, kids to retirees, they're actually learning to do the science, in the proper way. And so it's pretty cool to see that. And again, this comes back to just empowering a thriving, resilient community through outreach and education. REAP embodies this like nothing I've ever experienced. And again, I know you guys hear me say it. I'm so honored to be part of this effort. It's an incredible experience and just it gives me so much energy. So I have to just say, we want to thank all of the jurisdictions, the leadership team within the jurisdictions and the staff, and all of our partners. We have a lot of partners out there that help Stream Team and REAP move. We really are leading in Washington State and on a national level with this model. This interagency agreement is unique. It does not exist everywhere. I can't find anyone else who is actually doing it this way. And so our Stream Team is being looked at by other jurisdictions around the state and the nation. I get calls periodically from folks saying, "How do you guys deliver so much? And how do you develop your content so well?" And so we're sharing that. We're sharing it out. So hopefully that other agencies and folks can follow suit and maybe eventually become part of this big community. And that's resiliency. That creates resiliency and hopefully a sound future for the generations that are coming up. So, on that note, I will ask for the recommended action to place the interlocal agreement with the cities of Olympia, Lacey, Thurston County, and Tumwater, implementing a regional environmental education partnership on the July 21st, 2026 City Council consent calendar, with a recommendation to approve and authorize the mayor to sign. And on that note, I'll just flip to the last side, and these are just some of my favorite photos that I had from the year. I have so many more, but these are just a few.
Kelly, any questions? Councilmember Van Holst, any comments?
These are great, Grant. Thank you. And I really appreciate the striving to make sure that this program is equitable and finding ways to make sure that everyone who wants to take part is able to. So great work.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we're really excited about the expansion of that. And yeah, we'll like I said, we keep working hard to make that happen. So, and I'll tell you, just really quick on that note, I think one of the most effective ways for us to ensure that we're reaching out to as many people in the community is we've especially in Tumwater, we've made a lot of headway with our school district and engaging with students within the schools. And that's probably some of the best ways to reach into the corners of our community, is to get into the school system, so that kids are fully aware, of all the opportunities they have in front of them to participate. And I'll just add that in the over 4 years now I've been doing this, when I first started, there were no kids volunteering. Now there's not an event that I host where there's not kids involved. So, and so it's definitely growing in popularity, and the accessibility to kids has really opened up. So
That's excellent.
yeah.
That's excellent. And as an educator, I bet it just makes your whole day when you just, yes, they get it. The light bulb comes on, right?
It does. It does. And I again, this kind of bleeds into some of the other education outreach work we do with the school system with our summer programming, which is going on right now. And in the we built that out simultaneously while making the REAP programming better. Again, leveraging all that information. But now what's happening is that this education is inspiring kids to pursue careers in water resource management or forest and stream ecology. And we've interviewed some of these kids coming out of the summer programming, and we've had multiple comments saying, I would have never thought about this as a career, and now this is something I want to do.
Wow.
So,
Excellent.
that's for me, that's where I'm like, okay, we're now bringing the next workforce into light at this point.
Great leadership, great leadership. Now, I 100% agree, but my question is, why can't we add Yelm to the cities of Lacey, Olympia, and Yelm? Can we do that, Grant? I would love for us to do that. Is that possible?
Sure.
To add Yelm in there?
Well, I think them joining this ILA, is a good first step.
Yes.
And I do think they've got amazing team members over there. I've been working with the folks over there at Yelm. They participate in our monthly meetings, and their eyes are wide open because they see how much we're doing, and they're like, how do we ramp up to do as much as Lacey, Olympia, and Tumwater are doing? But the whole region is growing, so I could see more as populations increase in these centers. I could see more people wanting to be part of this ILA at some point.
Okay, gotcha. So, no other question. Council Member Van Holst, I will entertain the motion for this.
Okay, I move that we place the interlocal agreement with the cities of Olympia and Lacey and Yelm and Thurston County, implementing a regional environmental education partnership on the July 21st, 2026 City Council consent calendar, with a recommendation to approve and authorize the mayor to sign.
And I second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Next, let's discuss the interlocal agreement between Lot Clean Water Alliance and the City of Tumwater for mutual services.
Chair,
Go
I just
ahead.
have I just have a question.
Go ahead.
Tile, sorry for interrupting.
No worries. No. Yeah, no worries.
And Karen, this is gonna be towards you because I sit as the city's representative on the lot board of directors, and since council member Swarthout isn't here, I didn't know whether I needed to recuse myself from moving this forward.
Absolutely
fine.
not.
Okay.
This is part of your duties as a council member to serve on that board, and so this is not considered a conflict.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to check. Sorry, Tile, go ahead.
Yeah, no worries at all. So we do have another interlocal agreement, this one with the Lot Clean Water Alliance. I have to note that I spent almost 20 years working for Lot and was involved in the original formulation of this agreement. So we'll move on. So there is the revised Code of Washington 3934 that does provide provisions to allow municipalities, governmental agencies to work together on the basis of mutual advantage. And so what this does is it creates the ability for Lot and Tumwater to collaborate on, service work that would be associated with likely the wastewater collection system as well as the reclaimed water distribution system. And so it was originally established in 2014 and then renewed in 2019, and basically establishes that framework that allows either Tumwater to approach Lot or vice versa about different types of activities that they would request from the other entity. I would say that most likely this would involve, again, maybe Lot coming to Tumwater and saying, hey, we have a manhole that on Deschutes Parkway that needs to be fixed and it's a safety issue. And then that would provide them a mechanism to pay Tumwater, staff to go out there and fix that. I don't recall actually while at Lot having Tumwater work on any projects. I know that we had the city of Lacey do some valve exercising and had worked with Olympia, but nothing with Tumwater. Maybe Dan could sit in on and provide any feedback on that. But I'll also note that the agreement does not obligate the city to do any work. It has to be mutually agreeable to do the work. And then for any year, it would limit the amount of reimbursable work to $100,000. So I don't know, Dan, had we ever used this agreement?
I was thinking about this and I can't recall any time we actually engaged the formal mutual aid master services agreement with Lot. I mean, I know we always had a good cooperative relationship, and like I was thinking about the kind of the sewer break, in along the Black Lake ditch drainage, confluence with Percival Creek a number of years back. But I think that was more kind of collaborative work, not necessarily engagement of the mutual aid. But this provides that framework, and should we need to have Lot staff come out and act as kind of on our behalf, this provides this framework for us to be able to do that. But like I said, I don't think we've ever actually engaged this and just found those collaborative opportunities instead.
So again, we've had this agreement in place, and the updated agreement basically extends the term indefinitely. However, included in there, either party can terminate the agreement at any time. And again, it doesn't obligate the city to do any work. It just creates that framework. And then for this agreement, it updated the contact information, and then we kind of revised the service request form for that. I would note also that there are other agreements for city or locates within the city. Lot pays the city to perform locates within the Tumwater jurisdictions. so that if there are lot lines, either sewer or reclaimed water, that so they reimburse the city to do that work as well. And I believe that there's also an emergency response agreement that is in place as well. So with that, the request is to place the interlocal agreement with the Lot Clean Water Alliance on the July 21st, 2026 City Council consent calendar with a recommendation to approve. Are there any questions?
No questions, Tal. Well done. Pretty simple, right?
Yep.
Any questions, Councilmember Von Holtz?
Nope.
No questions, so I move that we place the interlocal agreement with the Lot Clean Water Alliance for mutual services agreement on the July 21st, 2026 City Council consent calendar with a recommendation to approve and authorize the mayor to sign.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Let's see what we have next. Should be
Thank you.
additional question. You're welcome. Any additional and future items, Councilmember Van Holst?
I don't have anything, but I see Dan Smith popped up and turned his camera on.
Yep. I just wanted to check in with you. I know I think at a previous committee meeting, we had talked about a potential site visit for the Sap Road culvert replacement, the fish passage obstruction removal piece. And it looks like if you're interested, next Thursday and or Friday, might be a good opportunity to get out there and see some of the creek kind of realignment work that they're doing and some of the initial the initial groundwork, the routing of the actual or the replacement of the actual culvert will be a few months down the road. There is a process here, and there's a whole schedule we can take a look at with you as well on that day. But talking with the project manager, Colby said this next week would be somewhat interesting for y'all to see if you were interested in getting out there. You had the time to do that. We can and I can check in with Councilmember Swarthout as well to find a good time. So. If you're available and that's an interest, let me know, and I can work with you scheduling offline and get that taken care of.
Great.
Hey,
Will
Dan,
do.
and I just wanted to play off of Dan, what you were saying. Thursday, you mentioned Thursday afternoon, actually, the Dave Congeezer, myself, and two of our inspectors will be helping with the electroshock. So we're actually removing fish from the channel in the afternoon. And
Even
that's
more
actually
interesting.
really cool thing to see and experience if that's a time you can get out there. So
Okay. Thank you.
That's a non-lethal collection method, correct?
correct. Yeah,
Right.
non-lethal. Yeah.
Please let the public know.
Yes, all non-lethal. No, our commitment to the species is very, very high. I mean, that's why the windows are where they are and why we have to do all the diversion. Yeah.
Got
So,
it.
yeah.
Thank you very much. Nothing further, meetings adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Have a
Thank
good
you.
Thank you. Thanks.